Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving this. This happens to be the key of this car, the Lexus ES 300H. I know the key isn't fancy at all. Let's quickly open the engine bay. This is the engine bay, hydraulic struts, Lexus hybrid drive written right there. And of course the engine bay looks beautiful. There's insulation. Mostly petrol cars don't get insulation, but this one is so freaking silent. You get the spindle grille up front, which is massive, and of course this being a hybrid has this blue outline around the logo. Meanwhile, front parking sensors. This is the towing hook. It also gets headlamp washers. Meanwhile, this is the LED DRL, which happens to be an L-shaped DRL. Meanwhile, the lights are Z-shaped and the lights look beautiful. In fact, these are all LED lights. The design of this car is so freaking beautiful. Just look at it. With the 7th generation model, not only has Lexus made it wider, it has made it longer as well, and the wheelbase has increased by 50 mm over its predecessor. And you can see that the sloping roofline at the rear to give it a coupe-like look. Meanwhile, the wheels of this car are absolutely mind-boggling. Just look at them. I mean, wow. The tire size is 235/45/18, and these are actually hollow wheels inside. You know, the design is such that they're hollow inside in order to absorb all sort of tire noises, so that the cabin is absolutely silent. It also gets active noise cancellation, so a lot of work has actually happened on making this car very silent. In fact, this one uses high strength steel for added rigidity, but the weight of this car is still a lot at 1740 kgs. Okay, when I walk around the car, I can tell you that it just looks so freaking beautiful. In fact, it reminds you of the bigger Lexus, the LS 500H. That's how beautiful the design is. Even the mirrors, just look at them. I mean, I think this is for aerodynamics. Chrome treatment indicator here looks so fab. Definitely looks fab. You get a shark fin antenna here, a subtle rear spoiler which is integrated inside the body itself. Again, the Lexus logo. There's a camera here. There are obviously parking sensors, chrome treatment here on the lower half of the bumper, and there opens the boot. In fact, if I kick it like this, it opens the boot, but right now because the car is turned on, it is not happening. Boot is decent size. It's somewhere around 470 sort of liters, and it is kind of wide here as well. You can see there's good amount of width to actually carry something long here. Meanwhile, the spare wheel happens to be a full size tire along with an alloy, so no cost cutting on that front. Great job, Lexus. You can see there is this bar. It's like a strut bar for added rigidity. Meanwhile, there's a light placement here as well. So in order to close the boot, you can press this button. You don't see that feature in many cars actually, not at least in a sedan. Meanwhile, the rear lights look very nice, very beautiful. You also get this chrome line there. Lot of premium elements on this car. You know what, there's a request sensor on all the doors. Just put your hand, the car unlocks. And another cool feature about this car is in the night, if you have the key in your pocket and if you approach the car, the lights will automatically turn on. Anyways, the doors open large and wide, and the door pockets are large enough. There's a puddle light here, and these are manual sun blinds at the rear. Yeah, they are manual sun blinds at the rear, which have to be operated like this. Yep. And you can see the seat, the angle is different. Well, this one is ahead, that one is behind. Now you can move the recline angle by 8 degrees on the seat. However, the center one does not move. So I'll just show that to you right away. So I'll just push this behind. Yeah, this is how it's going behind. Yeah. And that one is already behind. So you know what, you can actually access the boot from here as well. That's again a cool thing. 3 adjustable headrests at the rear, and you can see there's a sun blind there. You can recline that sun blind by pressing this button. There it goes. And you know what, when it's reclining, it kind of shows you the Lexus logo. Check that. It feels a little like the Lexus grille. Anyways, okay, now you might see that there's not much space on offer, but you know what, you can push the seat. There are controls here. You know, you can actually move the seat from these buttons itself in order to make it more roomy at the rear, and there's good amount of space at the rear. Now pushing the seat all the way ahead, obviously I'll get a lot more space, and then here we go. You can see that is the level of space on offer. I can comfortably stretch. Yeah, that is the level of stretch. I can do a lot of stretch. This seat which I'm sitting in right now, I'll recline that as well. Now this seat is reclining, so it makes it a very comfortable car. Seat has good amount of under thigh support, good amount of leg room, good amount of knee room, and the cabin is also quite wide, but you know, not comfortable for the middle passenger because of this hump here as well. Now there are a lot of charging ports here, so there is a power outlet here and 2 USB ports here as well. Rear AC vents are placed here. Seat back is a bit scooped out. Meanwhile, there's a magazine holder here as well, and this is such a comfortable cabin. There's a hook here, there's a handle here, there's a hook here, there's a handle here. There are lights placed here. Just press this button to turn them on. Yep, lights are quite effective at the rear, and the cabin feels really very nice indeed. Nice leather, nice comfort, nice support, isofix child seat mounts, you name it. The rear seat is actually a comfortable place to be in, and this car actually gets 10 airbags. That's right, 10 airbags. So let's get into the driver's seat right away, and let me tell you first things first. Okay, these are the controls for the power windows, these are the controls for the outside rear view mirrors, and these are the controls for the electric adjust of the seat. All right, electric adjust of the seat. You can see seat is very comfortable. In fact, you can increase and decrease the under thigh support as well. So under thigh support is not at all an issue in this car. Yeah, that is a lot of under thigh support. Meanwhile, it gets memory seats, and you can save up to 3 people's settings here. And as you can see, there's a very chin to storage compartment here. I don't know for what, maybe coins. This is to turn on and off the heads-up display. This is to open the fuel lid. This is to open the boot. This is to open the hood of the vehicle. That is the accelerator pedal, goes from down to up. There's a dead pedal there as well. There's an airbag here too, knee airbag. So plenty of airbags in this car. Let's quickly get inside, and when I get inside, the first thing I have to tell you that is, one second, I forgot something. Okay, you can see this, there are buttons. This is for air conditioning. This is for obviously recline and decline of the seat, and this is seat heating at the rear. There is no cooling function at the rear, which is unfortunate. These are the controls for the audio track of the car, and there is storage space here, which happens to be twin cup holder. There's storage space here as well. You can keep a lot of stuff there too. I don't know how I forgot that. Yeah, bad memory, I guess. Anyways, you obviously get a mirror here along with a light. Same is the case here as well. Mirror along with a light, and the air conditioning works brilliantly well on this car. Now this is auto dimming inside rear view mirror, and the dashboard design of this car is really very nice. Kind of a Jaguar car, continuous running Riva loop. And you know what? Why is this placed here? In order to defog your windows so that you do not have any problem seeing the outside rear view mirrors. Meanwhile, the car has these touch lights placed here, which is very nice and cool indeed. Now, this is obviously to increase the tilt of the sunroof. This is to open the sunroof, and there it opens. Sunroof isn't that big as such. Press it once more to open it any further. Press this to close the sunroof of the vehicle. And a lot of buttons here. This is actually to turn on the door light. Meanwhile, this is to turn on and off the alarm of the vehicle. So here we go. Anyways, as you can see, there is a lot of premium materials in this car, right from leather, wood and whatnot. You can see the design, the treatment, the comfort, the luxury. Everything feels so freaking awesome. The glove box is also decent sized. And you know what? You can lock and unlock the doors from here. You can lock and unlock the doors from there as well. And the side passenger also gets memory seats and obviously electric adjust too. The rear passenger only gets heated function. At the front, you get heated as well as cooling function for the seats, which is really very nice. For both the seats, you get heated as well as cooling function. So yeah, these are the buttons for the same. Now this is to open the rear sunblind. Yeah, you can open and close the rear sunblind by pressing this button, and there is a CD player right here. Mark Levinson badging has been engraved. Meanwhile, you can see these are the controls for the air conditioning. These are the controls for the audio system. This is for volume. It gets Nano E, which honestly I don't understand what it is. This is to turn on and off the vehicle, and this is the electric parking brake of the car. And there are buttons here as well for odometer, trip meter, and increasing and decreasing the intensity of this instrument cluster. You can see they're increasing and decreasing the brightness. Now the steering wheel also has a lot of buttons. Some of the buttons are for the cruise control. These are the buttons for the cruise control, and this is for the mode for the audio system. This is to go to previous or forward track. Meanwhile, these are actually the controls for that multi-information display right there. So you can decide how much brightness you want for the heads-up display, and you can get into vehicle settings, meter settings, and whatnot. Kick sensor is right now on. Tire pressure monitoring system, how much is the oil maintenance like, and what is oil maintenance actually. So you can get a lot of things here. In fact, parking sensor controls are also here. Display actually, it shows you the display here. You can increase or decrease the volume. See, that is the volume. It has 3 volumes, and it will show you the display here. In fact, some warnings also come here right now, showing me a warning here which happens to be windshield washer fluid is low. Now this is for the cruise control function, the display for the same. This is for audio. This is for the compass. Nah, not the Jeep one, but the compass. And this is the energy monitor along with the range indicator, and it also tells you real-time mileage, which happens to be 9 kilometers per liter on this particular drive, but overall it is returning around 14 to 15 kilometers per liter. This is the tire pressure monitoring system. A lot of information there. In the center, you get a digital speedometer. In set, you get this charge eco power meter. Now that can be changed to see the tachometer when you get into sport mode. Now the tachometer is activated below here. You can see the gear position indicator. Right now it is in parking. Meanwhile, there's an odometer here. It's saying eco mode activated. Now I get into sport mode. Now I get into normal mode. It says EV there. It says ready to go. There are a lot of telltale lights all over the place. Temperature there, clock there. This is the engine temperature. This happens to be the fuel meter, and it just looks so compact yet nice. You know what? This is the button to turn off traction control turned off. Yeah. The placement of the same is quite weird but exciting nonetheless, and these are actually the controls for the various modes of the car. So sport, eco, and if you want to get normal, press it in the center. Right now, let's just put it into sport mode. Meanwhile, these are the paddles of the vehicle. They are absolutely useless because no matter how many times you press them, the car has a mind of its own. It's going to do what it feels like. It's not going to change anything whatsoever. Now, these are the controls for the wipers in a Japanese car on the right. Well, because this car is made for the American market, these are the controls for the headlights. So this is to turn on the lights, and this is for the fog light, which happens to be the rear fog light, and obviously for the indicators as well. Let's use the wipers right away. Yeah, like it said, it doesn't have washer fluid, so that really doesn't work. Meanwhile, that was a delayed wiper swipe. So over here, the center console is massive. This is obviously to open the armrest, the center armrest. And guess what? You can actually open it from both the sides. So here, yeah, it actually goes like this. Can you see that? That is so funky and nice. I mean, you can open it all the way. I don't know for what, but it opens from both the sides, and you can actually open it like that too. So that's pretty cool in this car. In fact, you want to open from here, you can open it like that. So both people can open it. This is a very cool engineering trick. I like it. This is a cool storage area. Meanwhile, over here you get a 12-volt charging socket as well. This is a wireless charger. There I place the phone, and charging is going to begin now. There it is. Anyways, let's not forget the phone there. This space to keep stuff here in the center, and this is a pad which I don't understand for what. It doesn't move, it doesn't do anything at all. In previous cars, obviously you had that joystick thingy like a mouse, which worked really well, but here you have a touchpad which gives you a lot of feedback. This is the button to get into map, this is to get into menu, this is to go to the previous function. Meanwhile, there's the button for the EV mode, this is for auto hold. There's storage space here as well. So along with two USB ports, along with an aux port, cup holder here, and a coin placement here. Yeah, you can keep your coin here. Like the Lexus key actually fits right there. Okay, I'll show that to you right away. So here you go. Actually, it neatly fits the Lexus key there. Once you close it, the beautiful wood can be seen. A lot of high quality materials inside the car, but unfortunately, here you get a little bit of hard plastics, and this glove box is also lockable, which is a nice touch. You know, you can see this is nice way to browse. You can go through anywhere on this 12.3-inch screen. There's a clock, which is an analog unit right there, and you know, it's not the easiest unit to use, so it's giving you the trip information right now. I can get into history, I can get into a lot of stuff. So here there's something known as Miracast. Basically, with your phone you can actually mirror what's happening on your phone over here in the screen. However, there's one slight problem. There's no Apple CarPlay, there is no Android Auto connectivity either. Getting into the menu function, let's get into information. When you get into information, you can see how the energy monitor of the car works. So right now, let me get onto the throttle, and the car has turned on. So it will show you how actually the whole system is working, which is very, very, very cool indeed. And you can get into maps as well. The map is also very nice and slick, like high quality, but the only thing is it's not the easiest unit to use. There's navigation too, and it gets a 3-zone climate control system, 2 for the front and 1 for the rear as well. Attention to detail is massive. If I get into reverse right now, this is obviously the reverse parking camera. It gets adaptive guidelines, and you have 2 displays. Now this is not a touchscreen, unfortunately. Lexus hasn't opted for a touchscreen, but you can get 2 displays here. Yeah, this one is the better display. I think it's wider. Meanwhile, I get into parking, and the doors will unlock. Another cool thing is when I get into reverse, okay, let's do one thing. Let's get into reverse. The rear sunshade actually drops down so that you can get a better view of what's around. And as soon as I get into parking, it again goes back up. That's how cool it is. The front seat is very comfortable, extremely comfortable, and you get electric adjust for the steering, both for reach as well as rake. Yep, electric adjust. Now this is obviously a CBU car, so you get all these cool features inside, and the audio quality is brilliant because it uses a Mark Levinson 1700 watt 17 speaker audio system. Let's listen to some audio right away. Audio quality is just brilliant, and the car is so well damped you can't actually feel any sort of vibration inside this vehicle. That is a level of quality, fit, finish, and obviously luxury inside this vehicle, along with comfort too. But the attention to detail is really what wows you over. Now let me get into EV mode. EV mode unavailable, hybrid, battery low. However, when EV mode is available, I can drive this car to a speed of 30 kilometers only. After that, again, EV mode gets disabled because it needs the engine power to keep running. It also gets a heads up display, which you can see right now. It shows you the speedometer. It also shows you the compass along with the audio volume when you actually use it. So when you use the audio volume, it shows you the increase and decrease in the volume, along with charge, eco, and power meters too, which is a nice thing actually. It actually looks quite slick. Meanwhile, when you turn off the car, it will actually push the seat behind, Here I have to shift to parking, otherwise it will not let me turn off the car. And there you see the seat is moving behind, the steering is going inside, just in order to leverage some space for you to sit properly without much effort. In fact, let me do that again. When I turn on the car again, it will move the steering ahead and it will move the seat ahead as well. Just these small things which make it look so beautiful, and this beautiful graphic which comes over here for the ES, and obviously it shows this warning here to drive safely and for you to read the owner's manual. So yeah, certainly a lot of smart touches inside this car. The horn works really well too, and the car is just so freaking comfortable and luxurious. Honestly, we should just get driving right away. Alright, we are all set to go, which means first of all turning off the air conditioning, turning off the ventilated seats, turning off the traction control, getting into sport mode and getting into drive, pushing it into sport here as well. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and here we go. Absolutely seamless acceleration from this motor, which happens to be a hybrid. In fact, when I was launching the car, I put my left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. A warning came here, a warning even came there on the heads-up display saying accelerator and brake pedal pressed together. Now this is the same 2.5 liter petrol engine which was there in the previous generation of the Lexus ES 300H. This is the 7th generation model, and this motor happens to be a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine which now produces 178 horsepower, an increase of 18 horsepower from before, and 221 Newton meters of torque. Again an increase, but by only 8 Newton meters. Meanwhile, the battery pack on this car happens to be the 4th generation, which is lighter now but sees a decrease in power output by a massive 23 horsepower. Thus it produces 120 horsepower. Meanwhile, the torque output happens to be 202 Newton meters, and the overall power output happens to be 213 horsepower, which is obviously an improvement from before. And power delivery is very linear. There's good amount of thrust on offer, and this motor is supremely refined. In fact, at lower speeds you just can't hear the motor because it is in hybrid mode, and it just doesn't let you feel at all whether it is turned on, whether you are outside or inside. That is how silent the battery is. It is so freaking refined, but once the engine kicks in, you know the engine is kicked in. But again, the refinement levels are just stellar. How is it so refined? Well, obviously the engine is extremely refined, but there's great amount of damping in this car. In fact, the A-pillars have foam in it, and just you can't hear anything no matter how hard you try to hear it. When you get hard onto the throttle as well, there's slight amount of sound which comes in, but it's a sporty tone. And this being a CVT, it obviously has a rubber band effect, but the rubber band effect is quite well contained and you don't feel it as much. However, once you pin the throttle all the way, it maintains the RPM at around 6000 RPM, which is also the red line for this vehicle. But there is no shift because the ratios are such, you know, for a CVT gearbox, one of the best CVTs that I have witnessed. But overall performance is really very brisk. There's no kick in the pants feel. Everything is so linear, so smooth, so refined, and there is just a long and strong pull from this motor. There's still around 2500 RPM, and off we go. You just see it's a continuous surge in power. It just keeps pulling relentlessly. Acceleration is so freaking brisk. In fact, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour should take just 8.5 seconds. That's how quick this car is. Making a quick overtake on the highway, no issue at all. Get into the throttle and it just goes. That is the level of performance of this vehicle. In fact, fuel economy has improved by 25%. This one returns a claim mileage of 22.37 kilometers per liter, which is among the best in the class. Certainly Lexus has done a great job. I say Toyota because obviously it is nothing but a Camry underneath, and the performance levels, the refinement, the smoothness is just something else. This is what hybrid is all about. Now, how does the hybrid system work? Now, obviously you have an engine, which is a nice powerful engine. Then you have a battery pack, and the whole system works flawlessly. Well, you can see everything over here, what is happening. So basically the engine obviously powers the wheels, and the battery also powers the wheels. The electric motor rather powers the wheels. So you're getting a lot of output, right? But obviously the battery is going to get depleted quite soon as you keep accelerating, but it doesn't let the battery pack go down. So there are 7 bars on the battery. Right now we're operating with 5 bars on the battery. How does the battery get charged? When you leave the accelerator, because of deceleration, regenerative energy, under braking, it obviously charges charges itself. Meanwhile, the engine is also connected to a generator which then charges the battery in case the battery depletes too much, which means when you're accelerating, the car is drawing power from both the engine as well as the battery, while decelerating, the car is being charged by the deceleration which happens to be from the wheels. And when you are low on juice, the engine actually uses the generator to charge up the battery. Now many would think that why would the engine use its power to charge the battery? Isn't it inefficient? Well, not really, because the electric motor is obviously more efficient than the engine because it brings out its peak torque from 0 RPM. Meanwhile, the engine isn't as efficient as an electric motor. Thus, it makes more sense for the engine to charge the battery. Now this whole system works flawlessly well, and you can obviously see it here on the instrument cluster as well as on the infotainment screen when this whole system is in progress, and it just works so brilliantly well. In fact, there's also a pure EV mode which I believe works only for 2 to 3 kilometers because obviously the battery isn't as powerful to keep it on EV modes all the time. At lower speeds, the car remains in complete EV mode. The engine doesn't kick in, thereby making the vehicle more efficient, silent, and definitely a lot more refined than you would ever expect a gasoline powered engine to be. Shifts are quite seamless over here, but the ratios could have been better for a sportier drive. Now there are 3 drive modes on offer. There's a normal mode, there's the eco mode, and there is obviously the sport mode which I'm driving right now. Sport mode gives you that little bit more oomph, but overall this is not a sporty car to drive, and I'll tell you why it's not sporty. Wheelbase is like really very long on this car, and yes, it has considerable length. It's almost 5 meters in length, and overall suspension is also on the softer side. Now this car is underpinned by Toyota's new GAK platform, which happens to be Global Architecture K platform, and it is lighter than its predecessor by 62 kgs. However, the overall weight of the car has actually gone up by 35 kgs. I believe that is because of the added features. However, the battery is actually lighter now. The placement of the battery has been changed from behind the rear seats to now in the wheelbase itself, which is lower and also gives optimum weight distribution to this car, and thus handling is better than before. It feels more agile. However, it is not agile at all because obviously the length of this car is just massive. It is so kind of soft sprung that, you know, for the most part when you're driving this vehicle, you just don't feel like pushing it hard. You just want to drive it slowly and soak into the environment of the comfort and luxury on offer. You don't want to push it hard and fast because it just doesn't respond in that sense. Now also this car gets performance dampers, and they've also added a strut bar which happens to be in the boot for added rigidity. Meanwhile, the car is increased in almost every dimension. Even the rear track has been increased to give it more stability, and it is stable at high speeds. There's no noise which can be felt inside the cabin. It's just smooth, refined, comfortable, and the ride quality is absolutely phenomenal. At high speeds, it wafts along. There is no vertical movement as such in spite of the softer suspension. However, the best thing about this car is it glides even on the worst of roads. Bad roads, it doesn't affect it at all. Only thing is that at slow speeds on bad roads, you can feel slight amount of hitch. That is because of the low profile tires, but for the most part, the ride and handling balance is just so freaking neutral and comfortable because ride is great and handling is easy. Easy I say because the steering is light, easy to twirl, easy to park. Meanwhile, the steering doesn't offer much feel and feedback as such. Yeah, it is an accurate steering. It will let you know where you are going, but it just doesn't inspire you to push it hard and fast. Overall, the handling is great by luxury car standards. However, if you compare to the BMW 5 Series, well, not a chance to be even close. The brakes though offer strong stopping power, and you also have an incentive to brake because whenever you apply the brakes, the battery actually gets charged. The suspension on the car has also been updated. Now it gets a multi-link at the rear, and overall I just can't stop praising the ride quality of this car. It is so freaking brilliant, comfortable, luxurious, but there's a massive problem with this vehicle. Ground clearance is absolutely minimal. In fact, the ground clearance is so poor that it almost scrapes through the worst of speed breakers almost every given time, no matter how much side angle you take it. When I drove the Ferrari recently or even the Lamborghini recently, I did not touch even a single speed breaker. I have been driving this car since 4-5 days right now, and I have touched around 347 speed breakers already. That is the level of ground clearance on offer. In fact, Neha refused to drive the car. She's like, no, I cannot drive it anymore. It keeps scraping somewhere and you keep giving me this look. I can't help it, man. What to do? You can't keep touching the underbody of this car each and every time. What to do? You need to increase the ground clearance, Lexus. There's absolutely no denying that fact that this Lexus is a great car. However, there's a big problem. This is almost a Camry in every other way, which costs rupees 30 lakhs less. This one costs 75 lakhs, and that begs the question, should you pay 30 lakhs more just for the Lexus logo? Well, if you really want the Lexus badge on your car, then go for it. But I would personally just buy the Camry and be happy with it, because mechanically both are the same. You're just paying a premium, a massive premium for the Lexus badge. That said, the fact that this car looks a bit like the LS500 makes you a little bit more convinced to opt for it over the Camry. But the other thing is, the image that a Lexus car comes with is much more premium than the one which the Camry comes with, because you see a lot of the new Camry in the taxi market already with hotels and in yellow plates, which just doesn't gel well with a person who's buying a luxury car. There's of course some amount of roll around the corners, but roll is quite well contained considering this car is very long and kind of on the softer side. So guys, this is my review of this brilliantly sexy looking Lexus ES 300H. And if you like this video, you know what you have to do. Give it a thumbs up, that's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. Meanwhile, what do you think, Neha, about the car?
I feel it's worth paying extra for this car.
So the thing is, I have a budget of buying a Camry which costs 45 lakh rupees. She's going to give me 30 lakhs more so I can get the Lexus. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Bye-bye.